How many times someone pulled all over us on our new dress just before the party or birthday party or any particular event important to us, tea, coffee or Coke? How many times? And we actually ask ourselves why it didn't happen to us. We didn't feel responsible for that. How many times someone bounced into us in a pub or in a restaurant destroying our dress? How many times? How many times someone, our friend, previous friend, or let's say acquaintances or business partner or maybe employee, they really felt disappointed with our actions in the past and they sue us. They took us to the court. But we don't feel responsible for it. We don't feel that we are connected this way or another, that we feel really that I am responsible for what happened. We don't. And on the top of that, what we should know that just before someone did that to us, this person must have thought, this person had a state of consciousness it shouldn't have. It doesn't mean that it was thinking this way or another, but the state was not as it's supposed to be. I'm not judging saying, oh, it was a negative way of this thinking, or maybe there was a judgment that way. And also it didn't have to be a minute before or 2 hours before. It could have been 2 days before, 2 weeks, 2 years even. But because in consciousness there is no fragmentation, so was a cause and there is an effect, and the effect just pop out. So if we actually were the perpetrators, the committers, if someone asked really us deeply, did we really think positively or negatively about that person just before something happened, we caused that? Let's be honest. It didn't have to be here, but when we really think about it, we did. So you see, that's the effect of everything. But on the top of that, saying sorry is not enough. Why not? Because we felt pain when someone did something to us like that, just before the event or in a court, for example. We felt pain, and this pain has been recorded in our atoms. It has been recorded in so-called field, morphogenetic field. So it is already in us, it's already in our consciousness, in our cells. So saying sorry is not enough. We should, as the perpetrator or as a victim, this person should come over and ask, what can I do now to help you? What can I do to diminish this pain? That's the way we should deal. Because then we take responsibility. No, nothing in our world is just coincidence. Nothing really happened haphazardly. So we need to be aware of this. Now, how does this pain create? How does this negative scenario are being created in our life that we are not feeling responsible for? You see, the negative energy, the ego, doesn't really have force to manage, to create, to generate this scenario. It has to be fed. Now, how is being fed? Everything that surrounds us, all universe, all our actions, mine actions and your actions and other people's actions are positive generally, because they are being imbued with positive energy, with life energy. Now we, as the person, as the perpetrator, has free will what we are going to do with that. So if I use my hands, if I use my consciousness to think in a negative way, if I use something that will influence other person in a negative way, it could be even desire or thoughts. Now I take this energy of that action, of that particular scenario, which is in my mind, and I put I passed on to ego. Of course, we don't see that, we don't feel that very often, there is no weaknesses, but that's what we do. And now the ego has been fed. Now it's more powerful than before. Because we put this life energy, this is how the ego really, it's growing stronger. Takes the energy, like the Cancerian cells, and it gets stronger and stronger. So we do that, we did that, and other people did to us. Now this ego has access to create, to get into our immune system, compromise this system, and as the result, there is a sickness. So of course, in the first place, there is immune system, we could say, and compromised immune system in our mind. but later it is adjusted to our life. It is being actually a part of our life, of our body. So our immune system, also the physical immune system, is also compromised. And as the result, we suffer. We are sick. Now, to get healed, it's not enough to go just to the doctor and take a pill or take a shot. It's not enough. Because in first place, we need to be aware that this energy has to be restored. This pain has to be transformed because it has been aberrated. Only then we can be healed. So we cannot heal ourselves. Someone who is a stranger cannot heal us. We need to get back to that person. We are together, we are merged together. I remember a situation from my life that right now in my marriage, before my marriage actually, I was in a different relationship and I had a child from that relationship. So sometimes later in my marriage, I just couldn't figure it out why my wife didn't feel very well. She felt sick. And it was worse and worse, and I couldn't understand. She couldn't understand what was happening. So of course we tried to find a cause, and whatever we could have we've done, but it was not enough. And then I realized sometimes later that I aberrated her, that I was fully responsible for this state, that I was responsible for the sickness. You see, because being in marriage, for example, and thinking or desire other women or other men, it doesn't seem, let's say, that someone has noticed that, but it is noticed. We are actually aberrating other people. We are destroying our relationship then, our business. If we are jealous of someone or jealous of another business, this has to pop out in our family. But why in our family? Why, for example, in our relationship or with our children? Why it works this way? We don't see the connection, but we are connected. That's the point. There is no fragmentation in this world. We think there is, but there is no. Because when we are in love, when there is a partner, when you have a partner, and while you're having a partner, you desire another woman, you use your consciousness. You are not giving anymore. There is no circulation of energy. If there is intercourse and that person desires another man or another woman, you see, we actually stop the flow of energy. We don't create the flow of energy. We created something that is destroying the atom. How it comes? Because you see, woman, its electron is desire to take. Man, its proton is the desire to give. So how proton can become a giver if at the same time, instead of sharing, it's taking? How it takes? Because it's desiring something it shouldn't have. And because women are more spiritual, in the first line, they get the information. In the first line, they get the heat. And therefore, their immune system is sick. It's compromised. We don't see it this way, but every memory, every desire, every thought, every single consciousness, emotions, and action, it's connected to us. We are connected to other people in every single action. There is a reincarnation, there is a slavery in our reincarnation, because if you look at it, we are all the time connected with that. So, to paraphrase, in order to be healed, we need to restore in the first place the state of mind. And in order to do that, fully responsible person, of course there are both people, because if we as the victim run away, we are not going to give a chance to the perpetrator to heal us, of course. But most of the time, the perpetrator, we are the perpetrator too very often, we are not aware of that, we are responsible to heal other people. And other people who are the offenders are responsible to heal us. And once this has been transformed and restored to the prior origin of the state of our consciousness, then we can be healed. And about that, I'm of course going to talk more in the next video presentation.